On May 20th of last year, a massive tornado struck Moore, Oklahoma, with very little warning. The Moore tornado killed 24 Oklahomans, injured 377, and resulted in an estimated $2 billion worth of damage. A warning was issued only 15 minutes before the tornado touched down, just 15 minutes. In fact, 15 minutes is the standard in America. Mr. Speaker, America can do better than 15 minutes. The Weather Forecasting Improvement Act is the first step toward restoring America's leadership in weather forecasting and prediction. I would like to thank Chairman Lamar Smith and the Science Committee staff for their very hard work. H.R. 2413, the Weather Forecasting Improvement Act, is critical legislation that will save lives and protect property and critical infrastructure. I'd also like to thank the former Environment Subcommittee Chairman, Chris Stewart, now a member of the Appropriations Committee, and my friend and colleague from Oregon, Representative Suzanne Bonamici, for making this truly a very bipartisan effort. Mr. Speaker, this bill is about priorities. When America has over $17 trillion of debt, the answer is not more spending, but about prioritizing necessary spending towards its best uses. Saving lives and protecting property should be the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's top priority. This bill codifies that priority. H.R. 2413 directs NOAA to prioritize weather-related activities and rebalances NOAA's funding priorities to bring weather-related activities to a higher amount. The bill completes this reprioritization in a fiscally responsible manner. H.R. 2413 does not increase NOAA's overall authorization, and I'd like to repeat that. H.R. 2413 does not increase NOAA's overall authorization. It doesn't spend one more dime. Mr. Speaker, this bill helps get weather research projects out of the lab and into the field, thereby speeding up the development and fielding of life-saving weather forecasting technology. By requiring coordination and prioritization across the range of NOAA agencies, H.R. 2413 will help weather prediction and forecasting technologies, will help get these technologies off the drawing board and into the field. This bill authorizes dedicated tornado and hurricane warning programs to coordinate research and development activities. It directs the Office of Atmospheric Research to prioritize its research and development, and it codifies technology transfer between OAR, the researchers, and the National Weather Service, the operators, a vital link that ensures next-generation weather technologies are implemented. Mr. Speaker, perhaps most importantly, H.R. 2413 enhances NOAA's collaboration with the private sector and with universities. Oklahoma is on the cutting edge of weather research, prediction, and forecasting with absolutely world-class institutions such as the National Weather Center and the National Severe Storms Laboratory at the University of Oklahoma. And I'd like to anchor here just to brag for a second about what's happening at the University of Oklahoma. As a Navy pilot, I have seen firsthand phased array radar technology being used to detect, track, and target enemy aircraft from many, many miles away. What this technology is now being used for at the University of Oklahoma is to detect and track clouds and very small particles in clouds. And those particles can provide reflected radar energy that goes into a data assimilation system, into a numerical weather model, and we can now predict tornadoes over an hour in advance, which is the goal of this piece of legislation. Saving lives and property requires us to be able to detect, to warn people based on the forecast of a tornado, not just based on the detection of a tornado, moving from 15 minutes to over an hour in advance to detect tornadoes. Not only is this possible, it's been done, and they're doing it currently at the University of Oklahoma.
Well, when it comes to the weather, it is important that we have the latest, most accurate information, which is why you watch 22 News. Storm Team meteorologist Adam Stremko tells us how Congress now is working on legislation to improve the weather forecasts.
It's called the Weather Forecasting Improvement Act of 2014, and the U.S. House of Representatives has passed it. Weather forecasts have improved, but we've seen some dangerous and even deadly storms over the last several years, like Hurricane Sandy in 2012 and the June 1st tornado in 2011. Storms like these take lives and cause billions of dollars in damage every year.
I have noticed it has improved over the years, but better is always, that's the name of the game, I think.
And that's what lawmakers want to do. They're working to improve weather technology and advance weather research here in the United States. The bill would help to improve the U.S. forecasting models that have sometimes been proven to be less accurate than the European forecasting model. The 22 News Storm Team relies on those computer models, so the better they are, the more accurate our forecast will be as well. Most people 22 News talk to are in favor of the legislation.
I think anything that improved the warning system is a plus. And anytime you can know ahead of time what you're headed for, you're in a better seat.
I think the more money that gets thrown at the weather forecasters, the better. I am all about knowing more about the storms that are coming.
If passed, the Weather Forecasting Improvement Act of 2014 would provide NOAA with $360 million from 2015 to 2017 to improve severe weather forecasting as well as for weather research. The House passed the bill on Tuesday, and it now goes to the Senate. Live in the studio, Adam Stremko, 22 News.
Meteorologists in our area, from the TV weather people to the National Weather Service meteorologists, share two main Doppler sites, one in Slidell and another one in Lake Charles. The two main television stations in Baton Rouge, US and Channel 2, rely in part on that radar data from the Weather Service.
As they issue these warnings, it's with a low degree of confidence in this part of the state because what they're looking at is not very detailed and not the best information that they could have if we had another radar closer to us. So the farther you get from the radar, the higher that beam is getting into the sky. The second element is because the Earth is curved, the radar beam is also getting higher the farther it gets away from the radar site. So it's important for us to fill in that coverage gap.
We need early warning when you have tornadoes. These things can be very frightening.
Congressman Charles Bustani used Steve's blog as a jumping-off post to introduce new legislation that would get the government to add radar sites within 55 miles of each state capital in the United States to try and close the gap in South Louisiana's radar coverage. This will cost some money, though.
This is a matter of saving lives. And when I found out that the entire capital region doesn't have very good coverage in this regard, and there are blank spots, this is something we have to tackle.
We've got the technology to detect tornadoes pretty well in most cases. Now we just need that technology a little bit closer to us to do a better job.
I'm Greg Merriweather, WAFB.